let's talk about acid reflux. Yesterday's post about test not guess is quite important because, sometimes people are doing lots of self-help stuff, which is great. I'm not against that at all. But then when they come and book an appointment with myself or one of my team, one of our practitioners, we've picked up on the fact that they've just been palliating, means they've just been relieving symptoms rather than working sort of at the root cause, or what we call more upstream. What's going on before that? What happened before that happened before that? So acid reflux, stomach. So the tendency is, if you have acid reflux, is to be prescribed or take antacids. So it might be Gaviscon, it might be a proton pump inhibitor. But did you know you can have acid reflux if you have low stomach acid? So when I say low stomach acid, I'm not talking necessarily about the amount of acid the stomach produces, but the pH of the acid. So you've got this stomach, okay, it's like a sac, and you've got the esophagus that goes into the, connects to the stomach. And then the stomach is, you've got the small intestine, what have you down here. So if this is the stomach, you have a gate here, okay, called a sphincter, and a gate down here called a sphincter. This sphincter will open to let the food in once you've swallowed your food. Once that food goes into the stomach, it gets what we call masticated. Masticated because of the acid in the stomach. Now, the strength of the acidity, the pH of that acid is really important. If that pH is not strong enough, not acidic enough, that sphincter up here does not completely close. It doesn't get the message that I now need to close because the food's come in, okay, I'll close, and now this churning of the food happens and it creates acid reflux. So, why? Because that sphincter doesn't get the message that there's enough stomach acid or strength of the acid to close the sphincter, and therefore the stomach churns the food. The stomach will still masticate the food, the acid will still masticate that food, and if that sphincter's open, the acid will be going up into the esophagus, and that creates those symptoms. So when we give people acid blockers or acid production, reduce the production of stomach acid or take Gaviscon, we're not addressing the issue. Why is that stomach acidity not strong enough? What could be the reason? So there's trends as well about alkalizing this, alkalizing that, drinking this, alkalizing water. The stomach acid needs to be acidic for the body to do its job. So if that stomach does not have the strong acid or enough stomach acid, then further down below, the gut microbiome is way down below in the colon, that microbiome in the colon is going to get a different message because the food that then comes through has not been properly digested. So that microbiome, which has so many benefits to the body, from blood sugar regulation through to producing hormones, through to regulating the immune system. The functions of the microbiome are just expanding month by month. We're learning so much about the microbiome. But it's not just about the microbiome down below, it's what is going on up above. So, if you've been prescribed antacids, your child has been prescribed antacids, especially children, young children who've been given omeprazole. Firstly, children should not be prescribed omeprazole, in my opinion. Children are growing, they're developing, they need the nutrients, they need to be able to absorb their minerals. So the acidity in the stomach is really important for mineral absorption. So when you go back to yesterday's post about testing and not guessing, there's a reason why we do that. So you can have the same symptoms whether you have too high stomach acid, okay, so you can have those acid reflux symptoms, or whether you do not have enough or the pH is not strong enough. So therefore, when we test, we can see that. Why is it low or not? What's been indicated by these gut markers? And then you might ask the question, well, what do you do? First and foremost, how do you eat? How do you sit down to eat? Do you sit down to eat? Do you chew your food? Chewing your food involves your jaw, all these nerves here, which then send messages further down to the gut that, okay, food's coming, let's get ready. So it's like me having guests over, I know the guests are coming over. Well, if they turn up, without just knocking on the door, I didn't know they're coming over, they're going to come to the house the way it is. But if I know they're coming over, I might clean up, I'll prepare some food, etc. Same with the stomach. It's got to get ready. It has to get the messages. It gets the messages from the senses. When you're cooking the food, smelling the food, the colours, all the senses are really important. It's called the cephalic phase. That sets up everything in advance. And then when you put the food in your mouth, you chew your food because the stomach does not have teeth. Okay, so that's a tip. When you have food, when you eat your food, sit down, chew your food. No scrolling on your food, maybe not. No scrolling whilst you're eating. Engage, be present with your nervous system that you are actually sitting down, chewing, and your parasympathetic nervous system is activated. So, the other reason why you could have low pH of stomach acid or low stomach acid is stress. Oh God, let's not talk about stress. It's just, who's not stressed? Yeah. But that is now a real issue in the 21st century. Stress. So, how do you work with stress? Not manage it, not suppress it, but how do you work with stress? Okay, so I hope that's been helpful, and yesterday's post now makes more sense. So thank you for the messages. Any other questions, pop them down below, and I'll do another video depending on what turns up that day.